Week 6 has concluded, which means we can move on with our Week 7 power rankings, talking about the teams that are rising and falling in our league, guys that go for twos. We had a lot of shakeups this week. We had a lot of teams put up a ton of points, and some teams put up not so many points. We had some teams that are typically winning, lose, and we had those teams that have been towards the bottom win. So besides the first two teams and the last two teams, the middle section kind of gets a little messy, but bear with me, I'll show you guys why I put them at that position in our power rankings. So without further ado, our first place team is undisputed. It is Ryan Naughton this week and the weeks coming forward. Ryan Naughton has always been one of our top teams in the league. This week, again, he dropped a ton of points. He has not dropped below 120 points yet this season. He has a 5-1 record, the best record in our league, tied with one other person. Ryan Naughton is looking great. I think he's going to lock up that first round bye spot in the coming weeks. His team has a lot of potential. Our next place team is Tyler and Miles Colin. They move up to second in the power rankings at a 4-2 record. This team is putting up points. It may have lost to Ryan Naughton this week, but that is why they're only below Ryan Naughton. Their two losses have both come to Ryan Naughton. They have not lost to anybody else in the league. This team looks good as well. Our next place team is Drew Michael, 5-1. Now, I put Drew Michael down below here because I think he's going to continue to drop in the weeks coming forward. Drew Michael's team does not look great. He has Le'Veon Bell now on his team. Le'Veon Bell is a question mark. That's why I got rid of him. He's also on bye this week, so there's no way he's playing this week. Jay Ajayi is injured. He's out for season. Drew Michael's team's in trouble, all right? He will still make the playoffs. His record is 5-1, but I do not think Drew is in contention for that first round playoff spot for the bye. Our next place team, and this is where things get really shaky, all right, but bear with me. Our next place team is Josh Kerr with a 3-3 record. This team is trending upwards. It just beat Cubby with a lot of points on the board. Josh Kerr's team has put up consistent point totals now the last 3 weeks. I know I called them Mr. Inconsistent last week, but now with 3 weeks in a row with a high point total, I am comfortable moving Josh up. Our next place team is Cubby, 4-2. He got his second loss in a row this week. I have him moving down. I have Cubby this low, first of all, because of the 2 losses in a row. Also, Cubby, if you look at the standings, Cubby has put up 660 points total in the league this year. That puts him 8 points behind Josh Kerr, who has put up 668 points. Now, I know it's not a lot, but wait until you hear this next stat. Points against Cubby this season are 583. Points against Josh are 644. The 583 points that Cubby has put against him are one of the lowest in the league. The other people that have lower point totals are Drew Michael, and that's it. Drew Michael only has less points against him than Cubby, but Cubby is 4-2 and struggling. Cubby, you lost bad this week. I cannot possibly move you up in the power rankings at 4-2 when you put up 60 points. It was an awful week for Cubby, and I don't see it changing in the near future. That's why I had to put Cubby moving down. I thought about moving him down farther, actually. It's just not fair. I'm going to give his team a chance again next week. I think it will improve. I don't think it will improve to the level that he is thinking. Our next place team is Kevin, myself at 3-3. I have myself not moving this week. I put up a high point total, but I just want to see that consistency come from my team. I still have not put up a lot of points if you compare me to the whole grand scheme of things in the season. 150 points this week was great. 2 of my wins have come against Ross, though. Ross's team is ass. So if you take out Ross's 2 wins that I have, I'm really 1-3. I don't think I've beat really good competition. I've also beaten Jake, Jake's team's been up and down. I don't think my team is great. It is trending in the right direction, which I like, but I do not have credible wins. So that's the reason that I'm leaving my 3-3 record right there. The next place team is Matt Davis. The reason I have Matt Davis up this high with a 2-4 record is he has had 3 straight weeks now of good point totals. This team is dropping points across the board. His running backs are looking good. His wide receiver. How about his tight end? Jimmy Graham and Aaron Rodgers officially have a connection. After that Monday night game, Jimmy Graham looks to tear up the rest of the season. I think he's Aaron Rodgers' second favorite target, right behind Davante Adams. I think even with Randall Cobb and Geronimo Allison coming back, I say Jimmy Graham is going to be a weapon and a favorite weapon of Aaron Rodgers. 2-4 record. Matt Davis is looking good. He is definitely trending up. He is looking to get out of Sacco Bowl potential. Jake Kerr is also moving up and also looking to get out of Sacco Bowl potential. Jake, 2-4 record. The only reason that he's behind Matt Davis is Jake's team has been awful in the past weeks. Jake won his first game, then lost 4 games in a row, and then just won one last week. His win last week looked great. In week 6, Jake's team looked like a playoff team. I want to see that for more weeks heading forward. For that reason, I have Jake behind Matt. I think Matt has more consistency moving forward. If Jake puts up those point totals again, I will gladly move him up in the power rankings. Right now, I have him moving up, just not a whole lot. Our next place team, everyone I think saw this one coming, is Ross Davis. Loses again this week with a 2-4 record. Ross's team is not looking great. He needs to find a way to spread out point totals across his team. Julio Jones had the game of his life, or the game of the season, I guess you could say, and that probably won't happen again. Ross Davis's team needs to be moved around a little bit. I'm not liking it going forward. He hasn't put up great point totals. He's put up points, but not great point totals. He doesn't have that all-star player that's going to drop him 40 points. That's what I like about all the other teams before Ross, actually. That's the difference between Ross and all the other teams. Ross's team, 10, 15 points. It does not have that 40-point guy. Jake, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, he has that 40-point guy even though he's this low. Ryan Naughton has 2 40-point guys. That's why he's number 1. But that is why I have Ross this low. I don't think this team is trending in the right direction. And our last place team, it's obvious. Ryan Smith, worst team. Hands down, this team is shit. 0-6. Staying right there at the bottom. Will continue to stay right there at the bottom. Now, our 5 takeaways from week 6 continue from last week. Undefeated no longer. Trouble for Drew. I think Drew's team going forward is going to lose a boatload of games. I would not be surprised if Drew finishes the season 6-7 or 7-6. I think he's going to fall right around in that category. I'm projecting 1 or 2 more wins for Drew. Vegas bets on Naughton. Naughton has a great team. He has great running backs. Mark Ingram was on bye this week. He still put up 150 points. I don't think there's anything this guy can't do. He just has to remember that the playoffs are a weekly game. There's no 2-week playoffs. It's just one week, and anything can happen. But for the regular season, Naughton, Vegas is with you. Josh eyes ahead on the close race. Calls it a shit show. I totally agree with Josh here. That's why I had such a hard time doing the power rankings this year and tried to bring some logic and some light into the situation that is happening in the league. We have a lot of teams that are crisscrossing and going any direction. Right now, I think there is 6 true teams still battling for those last 4 playoff spots. I'm saying Tyler gets a playoff spot and Ryan Naughton gets a playoff spot, guaranteed. And I'm saying Ross Davis and Ryan Smith are guaranteed out of the playoffs. The other 6 teams, it is going to be a shit show of a race to go forward in the coming weeks. We are only halfway through the season. Anything can happen. I am looking forward to it. Number 4, a new league low. Congrats, Cubby. Now this year we, altered the point scoring system a little bit, and there's now a half point per reception, or every 2 receptions is a point. We're not full PPR quite yet, but Cubby has set a new league record for the lowest score in a week. That is amazing. Congrats, Cubby. We should just hand you the Sacco now. Not really, but that's another reason that I moved him down in the power rankings. Is it was just a tremendously awful bad week for Cubby. Congrats on the new record. And number 5, just going to reiterate this. Ryan Smith, are you alive? 0-6. I don't think we've had an 0-6 team since Tom Lindholm's been in the league, and even that, I'm not sure. I know Tom Lindholm did get 2 wins in a season, so I might have to double check that. But Ryan Smith 0-6 is sitting awful right now. Just terrible team. Not looking good going forward.